Hi there. Welcome to Within Living's YouTube channel. My name is Lois, and I'm so happy that you're here. And I do thank you for coming here. So here at Within Living, whether it's here on YouTube or on my website at WithinLiving.com or any of my coaching, any of my courses, any of my content that you might find around the internet, right? All our conversations are going to be focused towards spirituality, but with a very specific focus on consciousness. And when I say consciousness, I'm talking about being connected to the conscious awareness of who you really are within, because that's what your spiritual awakening is about, right? When you were awakened, when you had that jolt, and we all have an experience of some kind that causes us to have this shake. And from this shake, we sort of wake up and come to our senses, right? Or begin to remember the true identity of who we are, that we're far, far, far more than just these human beings that we've identified with, that indeed we are spiritual beings. And as spiritual beings, we are divine beings. We are eternal beings, right? We are already perfect. We are the soul, what's considered the soul. And in the science, they call that the subconscious mind. In religion, they call that the spirit. Same thing, right? But that's the essence of who you are, your essence of being, your awareness, if you will, your I amness of being. Pardon me, the part of you that causes you to become aware that you even exist. That's the true identity of you and not just the body. So that's what our conversations are about here. And my conversations and my entire mission really is to support those of you in your spiritual awakening journey, right? To just travel through this journey a little bit easier. And I just simply share with you out of my own personal experiences, right? Most of it personal that I went through and not book learning. You won't get too much book learning from Lois. Scientifically, yes, I do study the science and I'll share that. But I really share what I've tried and proven to be true, to support you on your journey, to help you to expand in your consciousness and become the absolute best version of you. So thank you for being here. And yes, all my conversations are going to be very, very thought-provoking. I am going to bring you content that was revealed to me as true and has validated itself in my life as true. And I'm going to provoke you with that conversation, right? But supporting you in that to cause you to go back and question what I say. Because if you go back within yourself and you really, really question these things at a deeper level, the truth is going to be revealed to you from within you. You don't need a teacher to teach you. You really don't. You don't need no gurus, no spiritual guides, none of that. You already have the infinite intelligence within you. So my part with you is just to support you and assist you and encourage you. Go within your own self. Connect with this intelligence that is within you, because you are it. You're not separated from it. And it will reveal to you all truth. So having said that, thank you so very, very much again for being here. And I just want to give a big shout out to a number of people here who watch my videos that have been so very, very generous in their support of my work and appreciation for my work. And I want you to know I do appreciate you a lot. I appreciate you appreciating what I do. So thank you very much. And so I want to say special thanks to Carla B. You've been amazingly wonderful in your support. Thank you so much for that. To Sky I. Thank you, Sky, so much. To Marshall C. You're always consistent. You're always there. Marshall, I thank you very, very much. To Bruce B. Bruce, thank you again and again and again for always showing up. I appreciate that. And to Dana L. Dana, thank you so very, very much. So thank you all very much, because this really helps to carry our work forward also. Okay? So thank you. All right. So now today, I have another juicy conversation today for you today, right? And today, I want to bring to you and say to you that you can revise your past. If you're experiencing being hung up on what we call traumatic experiences from the past. And when I say traumatic, I'm not talking about something that has to be a psychotic situation or, you have to get psychological counseling. I'm talking about an experience that did not work out for you the way that you had hoped for or intended for. And it brought some trauma to you emotionally. Whether that was a heartbreak from a relationship you might have had, that relationship could have been a relationship with a partner, a spouse. It could have been a relationship with a friend. It could have been a relationship with a parent or with a child, a coworker, a neighbor, whatever that relationship with. It could also be the relationship with yourself, you see. Yes. Or it could be where maybe you wanted to purchase a home and you really, really, really had set your mind, your hopes. You were in hope. You were not in faith. Different conversation. If you were in faith, it would have worked out. But you were in hope and you really hoped earnestly for it and it did not work out. And you were so disappointed or disillusioned. Or maybe it was that you felt that you gave the very best you had to give to, let's say, a job. And then what do you know? You were the one that got let go from the job. Okay. These are all experiences we go through, right? And for some of us, when we don't understand who we really are and what is going on, and that is not really our identification, but it is simply an experience that we're having, the emotional part of us. And the emotion, as I've shared with you before, resonates with the heart. And when I talk about the heart, I want to make a distinction here that I'm talking about the heart, the organ, right? The organ. The organ not only beats the breath for us, but it is not the breath, but it beats the breath. The breath is the you, and the organ, the heart, beats the breath. However, that heart is our emotional center in the human experience. So when we feel, quote, happy, right? That is a state of being from the heart. That's an emotional state of being. When we feel sad, that's also an emotional state of being from the heart. It comes from the heart, and the heart is associated with the egoic self. This is why you can have two people and they experience identically the same thing, and one person responds to it totally and completely differently than the other person. Why is that, you ask? That is because we're so uniquely different. We're all exactly the same as the soul, as the God presence, right? But the personality of us, the human part of us, we're so uniquely different in how we perceive things, in how we process things, in how we receive things. Therefore, they affect us differently. So to get to the conversation now, the title, right, that you can revise the past, here's what's going on with the memories, the things that hold you back in life. Whatever your desires are right here, right now for your life, right? Whatever you're desiring, whatever you're wanting to experience, to bring forward, to live the best version of you, live in the highest state of being that you can. The only thing that is separating you from experiencing it. Last week, in the last conversation last week, and I'm going to link it here in the box so you go back and listen to it, we were talking about manifesting. And this now is relevant to manifesting, although I don't want this conversation to be about manifesting, but it's all a part of the same. So that you're wanting to experience, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it is you're looking so much for God, you want this really personal, powerful, potent experience with the God presence in you, or whether it is you're wanting to be highly successful in a job, in a career, whether it is you want to manifest new love, whether it is you want to manifest a house or that $1 million or whatever it is, doesn't matter. The only thing that's standing between you and the experience of that thing is your repetitive connections back to the quote unquote past. That's what I'm talking about, the quote traumas. That emotional experience that so jarred the egoic part of you, your emotional part, that it is actually now blocking. It is saying, no. This happened to us before, right? And so because this happened to us before, this that you're wanting to do, you've never done that before. What makes you think you can do that? We've never had that. Remember when we tried to do this and this didn't work out, right? That's all that's really going on. And in truth, right? Didn't say the facts. In truth of who you are, because you are a divine being, because you're a spiritual being, because the essence of you, the breath of life of you is God itself. You are God come in flesh, keyed low. You can't have a past and you can't have a future. God is ever present now. And we've had a couple of conversations about the soul, who the soul is. And in one of those conversations, we actually looked at some of the characteristics of the soul. And we discovered that the soul indeed is steadfast. The soul is not just steadfast, meaning it is unrelenting, it is unmoved by the emotion. That's what steadfast is. It is not moved or deterred in any way by the emotional experience. Because for the soul, it wasn't an identification with what happened. Pardon me, no. It was simply an experience that it had. And because it did not attach itself, which it cannot do that, only the egoic part of you, your personality, can do that, right? When the ego attaches itself, it is storing a recollection, what we call a memory of something that happened. And it is holding it firm as a picture, as a form. And it is saying, pardon me, yes, this happened. We experienced this, right? Remember when? And as a society, humanity, they've trained us really, really good to keep going back and connecting with the past. If we're not connected to the lineage, we're connecting to the ancestors, and we're connecting to the historic data. We're connected to everything back there. These are ways that subconsciously we have trained the psyche. You've heard of the psyche? That's your egoic part. It's the psyche, the mind of you, of how your mind works. And this takes us back to thoughts. I love them thoughts, because at the end of the day, it all comes back to thoughts, right? But my point is, when your ego comes up and it starts reminding you about something that happened in the childhood, something that happened in a relationship, something that happened on a job, something that happened when we try to buy a house, a car, a boat, whatever all those circumstances are. You, my friend, in your awakening, you need to practice being conscious with your thoughts, being present with your thoughts, being mindful of your thoughts. That is living in consciousness, being in a conscious awareness of what's going on internally with you. So when the ego comes up and it says, no, we can't do that. We're afraid of doing that because remember, this other thing back here happened back here and we had this experience, and this is who we are because this is what we've experienced back here. You simply deny it. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. You challenge it. You deny it. And you tell him that was an experience, but that is not who I am. That is not who I am. That was simply an experience that I had. And then I'm here to let you know that you, as the God presence of you, if you choose to harmonize with it, you have the power. You are the only power in your world. You have the power now then to go and release. You look at the experience that happened. And you said, you know what, you're just a memory. And I am going to release you from me. I choose to release you from me. I detach from you. Once you've released it, you've detached from it, then the way you revise it is you go back within yourself. You go back to the point in time when that experience occurred, and you see yourself in the outcome that you wanted. And going forward now then, you begin to train the mind, which is also to train the ego, because the ego is a part of the mind. The ego is operating from the thoughts of the mind. So you begin then to allow your dominant thoughts to be the outcome of the experience that you wanted instead of the memory of what you believed happened then. This is very important, not just to heal. That brings healing to a past traumatic situation. If you do that, it can't haunt you anymore. It just can't, because you've taken the power away from it to see. I'm telling you, that's how powerful you are. However, it not only heals you, but it actually opens the door now for you to bring forth your experiences that you're wanting to bring forth without this thing in the past becoming the resistance to it. Does that make sense? I know it does. I know it does. You really can revise the past, because when we really get down really low below the surface and we begin to realize that time and space are not a real thing. When I say they're not a real thing, are you experiencing them? Of course you are. So am I. But they're not our truth. They're just a part of the illusion. They're just a part of the matrix, if you will, right? They're just a part of the experience you're going through. They're just a part of the experience. Because, well, let me put it to you this way. Let me ask you this then, my friend. If you've been awakened and you have this realization that indeed you are a perfect divine, you are a spiritual being, you're more than your human experience, then do you believe that as an infinite being, right? What does the word infinite mean? Stop and really contemplate that one. See what that means to you. But if you are an infinite being, if you are an eternal being, then where is your past? Where's your past? And where's the future? Because if you really, really understand infinite and eternal, you will really get the realization or the revelation that there is no past for the soul, for the true you. And there is no future. It's now. It's just now. It's always ever present now. God, the source, if you want to call it that, the infinite being, the Father, the Creator, is always now. God says, I am. I am. I am. I am. When you affirm or you declare I am has nothing to do with the past. It didn't say I was. And I am doesn't say I'm going to be. It's not going to be anything. It always is. It just always is. It always is. It is always ever present here and now. This is why all things, anything you can desire, anything you can think of, anything, if you earnestly, sincerely desire it, you can have it. It is possible for you not only to have it, but it is possible for you to have it and have it here, 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 and now. That's why instant manifestations are a real thing. If you go back to religion, let's say Christianity, to the good book, and Jesus was healing those people, why do you think it wasn't even just Jesus alone that healed them? So this proves to you that God came as man. It wasn't just Jesus who was healing the people. How about Peter? How about Paul? All right? If you read that good book, if you came out of religion, from the Christianity side of religion, Paul, yeah, commanded healing to a number of people, and instantaneously they were healed. That's an instant manifestation. So how come that manifestation came instantly? Because Paul understood, or Jesus, or Peter, or you, or I, or whoever chooses to accept it as their truth of their true identity, their true nature, that everything is ever present right here, right now. So if you're wanting to be healed, your healing is not coming. Nope, it is not coming. Doesn't matter what the doctor said back there. Stop looking at what they said back there and start living presently, consciously, with the inner knowing that I am already healed. I'm not going to be healed. I am already healed. I am. And that thing that you may have lost back there, if that was a job, then stop dwelling emotionally. And it may not be a conscious dwelling, okay? Because a lot of this happens at the subconscious level. This is why it's important to live in consciousness, to be mindful of your thoughts. And I'm not talking just about the thoughts, the chatter, monkey talk going on in the brain. I'm talking about the subtle inner conversations that are coming up from the subconscious mind. If you're not present with them, you're not going to hear them. So try to be in consciousness. And so when you're being in consciousness and the thoughts come up and the egoic part of you, or even the subconscious mind, is bringing them forth to you to show to you, because the subconscious mind brings to you everything within it that is your true deep inner conviction of what you believe about yourself. Everything in your life, and including every thought you have. All those thoughts are only mirroring back to you what you're truly believing with a conviction about yourself. So you don't have to accept them if they're not your choice. You simply choose to change them. And you change them not by denying them, not by running away from them, Definitely not by being afraid of them. You look them square in the face. With love, you acknowledge them and you challenge them. And you let them know, no, that's an experience that I had. Yes, I had it. Yes, I had it. But it is not me. It is only an experience. This is who I am. And then you go back and you identify and you affirm who you are as the soul in whatever form that it is that you're wanting to manifest. So if that was health, then you just go back and you said, this is who I am. I am healed. Yes, I heard what they said back there, but I am healed. I am whole. Yes, I have that job. That job is mine. They have to hire me. I am the one that has that job. I have that house. I have that partner. I have that ideal relationship with my children, with my friends, with my spouse, whatever your situation is, right? So I trust that this really brings some clarity to you, because you don't have to continue to live back there in the past. The past is only an illusion. It is a memory of an experience that you had. It is not a real thing. And if you allow it, as long as you're allowing, do you realize that as long as you're allowing past experiences, right? The ego to manipulate you with them, that they're the real deal and they're your identity and they're who you are identifying as. Do you understand and realize that you're actually putting yourself in prison? It is being in a prison without physical bars. That's what you're doing to yourself. So get out of jail. Get out of jail. You got the power to walk right on out of jail. And you walk right on out of jail by stilling those opposing thoughts, the consistent memory of, quote, what happened then, or the projected memory of what the ego thinks may happen in the future, and you bring it back to now. You bring it back to always being ever present here and now. And I'm here to let you know that if you can discipline the mind to do that, and you will be persistent and consistent, you'll realize that the past situation totally dissolves itself. You may come to a place in your life where you don't even recall having a memory of it. Or if you think of it, it seems so detached from you, like something you were reading foreign in a book, had nothing to do with you. Because it really was just an experience. It was just that. All right? So it's been my joy and my pleasure bringing this video to you. I really enjoy bringing these videos to you, because I enjoy, it really thrills me to share with you things that I've had to work through, you know, over my process. I've been going through my awakening for decades, yeah? And it's taken a while for me to work through and to have understanding. But once I began to have the wisdom on some of these things and apply them to my life, I share them with you because they worked. They worked. They worked. They brought results. And they brought that results fast, yeah? Because we're dealing with the spiritual side of things, not the physical side of things. And oil and water don't mix. You can't toe the line and try to do the two. It will never work. So if you're in spiritual awakening and you're saying, well, you're allowing your ego to say, well, yeah, we're on the journey and we're doing this thing, but we really don't want to have the discipline to do the work, to come in harmony with who we are. We're just going to keep being who we are as the emotional part of us and hope for the best. Then I'm here to let you know, my friend, that you're busy going nowhere. That's called being double-minded. And you'll not only not get the results you want, but you may create more chaos in your life. So don't do it. Just step on up, really, really treasure You're awakening. It's the greatest thing that's happened to you since your existence. You got your existence, that's the best. And then you're awakened to realize who you really are. So treasure it. So my intention in bringing this to you today is that it brought clarity to you, it brought a blessing to you. I appreciate you being here. I so appreciate and value you watching all my videos. I appreciate your comments, and I do enjoy the exchange that we're having in the comments box below. Now, you go ahead, look in my description box. You'll find all my services there and find out more about this conversation, what we're talking about, and the reference links. I'm going to link some reference videos to this for you to give you further understanding, okay, to support this video right here. And I'm not going to stop inviting you, so you go right ahead and go on over to WithinLiving.com. That is my website. And scroll on down for my community and come and join my community, okay? We are having a great time. If you're serious, let me ask you this. You're so serious about transforming your life and you can't invest in getting the support you need to bring about the changes that you need, then you need to stop and think about that. It's not about the money. Not for me. No. But you need to think about the worth and value you're giving to your own self, okay? But you really should. If you're serious. If you're not serious, then that's fine also. But I enjoy bringing it to you either way. I love you to pieces. I love each and every one of you, and you know that I do. So again, thank you for coming. Have an amazing week. And always remember, there's one consciousness. There's only the one. One God, one source, one consciousness. And we're all a part of this incredible thing called life. It is the consciousness of us all. It is the true nature of who you are. It is God within you, my friend. It is God within you. So until next time, bye-bye for now. Peace. And remember, one love. We're just one love. Bye-bye.